Hello everyone, welcome to Sportive Mechanics on YouTube. I'm Nicholas. Today, I am in this beautiful setting in Portugal to introduce you to the new Honda
Alpes 750 that we will be able to try on all types of roads, from small mountain roads to city streets as usual, and even this time on off-road paths with small rocky roads.
to test the gravel mode and a little bit of all conditions.
With this motorcycle, you will discover all the features and all the novelties, since there are a few on this motorcycle, and then we try.
Let's go then. So this new Transalp 2025, what does it bring new? Some slight modifications like this bubble.
The first thing we're going to see with these new optics here with 100% LED lights that are being redesigned a bit to give a bit of the style of the eyes that the Africa Twin had on something a bit more compact, even with a 100% white LED signature and this bubble that will allow for a bit better protection. We have the air intake right here. It's not adjustable, unfortunately. It's just going to stay like this. I might have liked something that could move. It would have been a plus, because in the end, this motorcycle, it can really be used for a lot of things. We can use it as an everyday motorcycle because it is still manageable, easy to ride, with a 750 engine that allows you to do any type of road, and at the same time, it can be things that we will use to really just go for long rides, or other, like us, we were able to do quite a few kilometers today on very pleasant roads. We will even see that at a dynamic level. It's really not bad. I did not expect to enjoy this Transalp on small ultra-winding roads. And actually, I loved it. I had already liked the previous version a lot, which I found very comfortable, etc., most journalists. And some told me that it was maybe too comfortable to make it dynamic, and there they have therefore precisely reworked these suspensions to make it a little firmer and precisely more playful. We still have the rain mode, the sport mode, the standard mode, the gravel mode that we will of course use since we are going to do a little bit of dirt and pebbles, and 2 configurable modes. We can all activate, and like on the Africa Twin, its big sister, let's say, deactivate the electronic stability program. To precisely do a little bit of sliding, the traction control, and also the rear ABS, which can be disconnected to be able to do little skids, etc.
Which can be practical on a motorcycle when we are going to do off-road, for example. Sometimes there are hairpins. Rather than going up, we will arrive, brake, we slide, we bring in the hairpin and it brings the rear. It's much more practical. The same for the electronic stability program. When we disconnect, we can do U-turns on the spot. It can be a real plus, or just have fun wiggling a little bit.
Of the buttocks. What is good about this motorcycle is, for example, here it's crash bar with the fog lights. Here we have a pack with the bars, plus the shoe. Here we have a colleague who just arrived. Took a little tour in the sand. Well, this motorcycle can really go anywhere. The SP can be fun to play in the sand, and here we see that it's all connected and goes well. A colleague, Motor Live or something like that. I love being able to also meet people from all media. It's thanks to that too. In this job, now Dominique Chapade has become a friend.
All the guys from Turbo, Automoto, and now even the motorcycle guys, it's a pleasure because it's a small world, because you don't see it like that. But in fact, we have a lot of motorcycles. As I show you a little bit, I like to show you a little bit of the backstage. We all know each other. We're all friends. We all do the same job. I admit that we have a passion job, and it's really great. And it's thanks to you too that I can do this. Thanks to the little blue thumb, the like, and all the comments that you put a little bit everywhere. So once again, thank you that I don't say it often enough. So I'm going to talk to you about the packs. For example, this one is equipped with the Adventure Pack. There are the bars. There is also the grid with the Transalp hidden behind, and the fog lights.
This is the Adventure Pack. There is then the Comfort Pack with a bag that can be put on the tank and footrest that are with the little rubbers like this. Then we have the Rally Pack. The Rally Pack, it puts a little skid plate like this here, which precisely prevents rocks from going up to the level of the manifold or the oil filter. This is very useful if you do off-road with the specific footrests that are also metallic so as not to slip on the rubber, because we have sewn the rubber. More rubber, it slips a little bit when it's wet. So it will be the metal ones with the little studs. Then we have the Urban Pack. The Urban Pack, which can be useful because it brings a central stand, which is an option, a 50-liter solid top case, and also a high windscreen, which will be different. And then we have the Touring Pack with the 2 side cases of 32 and 36 liters, and also the 12-volt socket after you can take cumulative packs. For example, here we have this one with the bars on top, the bars on the bottom. We don't have a bag today. and we have a standard windscreen. After, we can have the pack with the 3 top cases, which can be practical if, for example,
It's a motorcycle used for commuting to work or going on vacation.
to be able to put quite a few things. And especially your helmet at the back, it will be available with this white color and the typical Transalp decor. It will be available in black with red trim and in grey with this yellow stripe. I find it quite nice that there is a slightly retro style in terms of dimensions. This motorcycle measures 2.33 meters long, 84 centimeters wide at the handlebars, and 1.45 meters high with, I don't know, I think it's the bubble that is at the highest level. With the seat at 2 feet 7.87 inches, I'll place it in front of you to demonstrate its appearance.
So Nicholas, I measure 1.80 meters. I have the standard seat.
It allows me to have both heels wool placed on the ground, and frankly, I have room, and if I have to maneuver, it's okay, it's not too difficult. There is a comfort seat. The comfort seat is a bit wider here at the seat. I tried it for about an hour, and I rode this one for more than 2 hours. This one is already very comfortable. The standard seat, if you want the comfort for very long journeys, it can be a little plus, but on my daily use, I did not feel any real difference. So good job to Honda for making a standard seat that is already very comfortable. I, who am 1.80 meters, when I am sitting with my foot on the brake, this is what it looks like.
I have a good position, same for my posture. I am positioned straight, the bubble does its job well, the air passes quite well above. Even when we are at higher speed, it's a good thing. And I feel good, I'm not slouched, I'm not too forward, I'm not too on the arms, I'm not forcing. And that for having ridden several hours with, it's super comfortable, and same for the maneuverability. I found it pleasant in terms of weight. It weighs 210 kg. We have a frame that weighs 18.3 kg. I remain quite correct. We have a fork at the front, so inverted 43 millimeters, 200 millimeters of travel at the front, 200 millimeters of travel at the rear, almost 190. So it leaves something to do to be able to overcome obstacles, go through the earth, even make small jumps normally without too much problems. At the level of braking at the front, we are on 4 pistons, on 2 brakes, so left and right, for double disc 310 millimeters. With a braking, that is relatively correct.
The brakes are progressive, not too aggressive, which is ideal for this type of bike. It allows for finer control in sand and dirt. If the braking was too biting, it would be problematic. There is ABS on both the front and rear, with the option to disconnect the rear ABS and traction control. In terms of rims, you can see we have 21 inches at the front with a tire in 90 wide at the back. We have 18 inches with a tire in 150 wide with mixed tires. We can do both road and a little bit of path. Be careful though when it's wet, on grass, etc. It might slip a little bit. There is no real cleat at the back. For braking, we find a single piston caliper on a 256 millimeter disc, something quite standard. The exhaust cartridge, which is there in low position. The calipers for the rear passenger, hop, hop. If I go to the back, I have here with this bar something to hold me. Well, that's great. If I have someone here, the tank will be able to make sure I hold on a little bit, but you still have to lean forward a lot.
The seat seems pretty good. It is wide here, it holds me well. At least on the 2 bones of the buttocks, they are well placed, and no, it seems pretty good. Even to stand straight, I would be fine. And especially with this support here.
I have very, very good support. And even in terms of the position of the legs. Even if I wedge with the little heels here, I'm pretty good. And if I stand on tiptoe, in any case, it's quite comfortable. So even if you have a passenger to do a little bit of road, it will really not be bad. In terms of the tank, here we can put 16.9 liters. Let's see what that gives in terms of consumption.
The ground clearance is 21 centimeters.
Which should normally allow you to mount any curb.
Or go just about anywhere. This motorcycle is only available in a 6-speed gearbox.
In manual, they don't have a DCT. On the Transalp, they don't have an E-clutch.
Maybe it will happen, but the dual clutch, it's not planned.
We will also try the NC during these tests. Here in southern Portugal, I'll make another short video for you. I didn't expect it to be nice. And actually, it's really not bad. We have a wheelbase of 1,560 mm, which allows for good stability. We have spoke wheels. That gives a really particular style. And what you need to know is that in these spoke wheels, the tires contain inner tubes, meaning they are not tubeless. Because it's maybe more convenient after all. Bring inner tubes for off-road riding in case of flats or punctures, as they're easier to replace than the entire tire. So we clean, we can then directly put this engine back. We talked about the speeds, etc. It's a 750 cubic centimeters, as it was before, 75 Nm of torque, which is more than enough, and about 92 horsepower. It allows to have a machine with a power weight ratio equivalent to the Africa Twin, which is a much bigger bike with a much bigger engine, but in fact it's a bike that you will see is quite endearing. It is easy to use, it has torque, it has power, which is more than enough, especially for this kind of machine anyway. Looking forward to taking you on the road. I'll take you for a little ride with me directly to show you the specifics and introduce you to the new screen as well, which evolves. A bike that can be bridled in A2, that's a good thing, and you'll see that even for beginners in motorcycling, it will be frankly pleasant. What I always say is, when you're going to start motorcycling or you're looking to buy a motorcycle, don't hesitate to go to your dealer. You ask for a test. Normally it's ready quite easily, and it's the only way to get an idea. We can give you a little idea of what it's worth. Now, a lot of things are still pretty good, especially very reputable brands like this one, and the price starting from 10,699 euros, which is relatively correct.
When we see the soaring of all prices, as indeed some prices even go down on certain models, the ANC, for example, lost 750 euros. Yeah, it's rather interesting because I like to do that even with cars. So give you a tour of the bike, and I find that it's so much better because there you really discover it in real, as if I was with you. And I find that it's good even on the configurators that we can put them in 3D and discover them.
It's still a lot more fun. What do you think?
I love this look in white, blue, and a little bit of red like that. I find that it really brings something. Same with this new front face, these optics there, it's rather not bad. So when we are really on the front face, that's what it looks like. The big mudguard here in plastic, which is the same, also quite worked the brakes, the spoked wheels, the tires. So there we have Metzeler, which frankly have a very, very good grip on the dry. And I was really surprised to take the bike so far in turn, the bars, the big casing there here, which protects precisely all the bottom of the engine, the wheels at the back. We can see that we are a little bit in the sand, the discs, the braking, the license plate holder.
The rear LED turn signals are very simple.
The LED rear light, full LED lighting, of course, on this motorcycle, the calipers.
The little details that we can see here with the 750 little detail that I like is also seeing the mountain type that hides there. We have another one that hides here that we can see there. It's this kind of little details that I actually like on motorcycles. Go, look at this landscape. It's too beautiful.
The counter it.
Looks like this. So 5-inch TFT color screen. So here I'm going to remove the dust, even in full sun. Very, very good readability on this screen. Frankly, no problem. There is the sun that is really behind to see it. So that it hits right on this screen. We see it very well. And even on a camera screen, it's still really top. We can see that here. I have the fog lights activated now. There is outside temperature. It's a real plus because I find it cool. There here, the mode in which I am here, for example. I am in sport mode. The
Traction controls, the neutral, the ABS stuff that we'll see on this side.
The fuel gauge, the outline here that goes up to 10,000 tours. The menu in which we can enter, we can connect our phone also. And especially this side here, which is new headlight call. Thank you, Honda, because that's much more practical and it's displayed up there. We can see it, the blinkers, the sole. So, which blinks up there and which is also automatically removed now, the horn that wakes up well, and this joystick that allows us to navigate in the menus so we can enter on the right there. Here. And it's going to scroll through the menus. I can go up, down, have all my settings. Then enter the settings here.
Of the motorcycle with really everything that's good for customizing.
But mode, so I go back here.
And I have the modes there. So I could put the rain mode, the gravel mode, the user mode one. And to customize, for example, this user one, I will stay pressed on mode here, and it will then bring out the modes that I will have. So PT for power, I can
then adjust. So I go in on the right, and then I adjust the power on 4 levels. I go back to the left, I go on a gene brake. I go back there to the right. A gene brake is, do I want more engine brakes, less engine brake? It's me who decides here. The traction control. So either I want them to be very intervening or little intervening. And if he wants to disable it, I go all the way up and I stay pressed. And there it goes off. And there I have then, I think you see there in orange displayed here, So in orange now as if it is disabled. However, every time you restart the bike, well, the traction will necessarily reset. I go back here and I have the BS. The BS, I have the choice. Either I leave it in off-road or I put it in road, and to disable, then it's a bit counterintuitive. I have to go down, I'm in off-road, and I stay pressed up, and there it asks me, are you sure you want to disable the rear abs? I go up, yes, yes, and there this time the abs is disabled here. So there I have everything disabled, the ABIS and the traction control. Then I go back and I go back to these 4 settings that I have here, and to exit I go back in this way where I press on mode. Normally how it works, I stay pressed to the left. No, well,
I don't know anymore. No, I stay pressed on mode, and so my screen that I can customize, I can have several colors, the night display, etc. On this side, I have something to start the bike here. So
put the contact, the warnings, which are very practical, and then start this machine just here. The key is located there. It's a key start. We don't have one that really leaves the ignorant, and here's what it looks like. So when we are a driver, we have a rear view mirror. It's simple, a visibility that is correct. So here I have the trimmings here, which is rather practical before, and clutch on this side. Even small sound, quite nice to hide nothing. And when we start, we can see that we are in neutral, and USQs is for the quick shifter. Other hop, I was passing the first, and that I have my gear indication also, and I decipher up and down, up good. What remains to do now is to go try this motorcycle on all types of road, see what it gives. We will have fun because we conclude a small program for the test of this motorcycle. Let's go, we meet at the end. Go, it's going to be gone. So with this new Transalp, start here at the counter, small animation, all the buddies, all the French press is there. He is lucky, he has the gray and yellow. We know they are good, so here we are, close to Faro, and we will be able to ride. So the motorcycle starts. They have already warmed up a little. I remove a small side stand and we will be able to go. Let's go. We will be able to go with the others and ride. We can see that each has slightly different specs. For example, he has the right to all the hard luggage down there, the soft luggage, him a black and red me, for example. I have the bars with the fog lights. We all have slightly different packs to also show you everything we have available. I leave at the end. I like to leave at the bottom. Thank you, gentlemen. Hop the little stop. Go, let's go. Hello, madam. I will close this directly. So it's been a very long time since I rode a Transalp. It's even been some time since I rode a motorcycle. It's always this usual feeling at Honda. It's the ease of handling. It's pleasant. From the start, we shift gears quite easily. We now even have the shifter up and down. So, and which was before, but which was improved, the suspension. With this kind of motorcycle, it's still very pleasant, especially on this kind of donan with 200 millimeters of travel. To slow down a little bit, and it goes, well, we just have to lift the buttocks a little bit for it to be perfect. We slow down, I can drop my gear back into first. Hop, you can feel that there's torque debate in the revs. Little shifter, hit the shifter, can be set to 3 positions. To the left, really what I like a lot with this bike is this ease of use, the position we are well installed. It is not too big compared to the Africa Twin. Then the Africa Twin is a very good bike, but I find it still quite huge. And I much prefer this kind of bike where it's smaller. The shifter, on the other hand, afterwards, there is no DCT on the Transalp. You really have to do a little clutch hit at the end hop, the turn signal normally. Now we have the automatic stop turn signal. So here on the right here, hop, little shifter hit, hop, we go up, does the turn signal, remove, it's good. It's removed, hop here. I put back to the right. There was no need. I think it's very torquey at the bottom. It's very pleasant, actually. And what Mondane tells us is that we have a good power to weight ratio. And that's the most important thing according to my car and motorcycle. And any engine device, if we have something light with an engine that is not necessarily powerful, In the end, it will move well. Since as it is light, we do not have much to move, but it accelerates relatively well. And now I am in standard mode.
For the city, it's very nice. On the back of the ring, we lift a little bit the buttocks, it absorbs well.
It's pleasant in fourth gear at 50 mph, and 2500 RPM revs are quite low, but there's still power to accelerate. With this type of motorcycle, you shouldn't be too low in the revs either. It's not a four-cylinder, but in fourth at 50, the revs are pretty good.
A colleague who overtakes me.
It makes a nice little noise, because if I put myself in sixth,
I'm going to be under 2000. It's going to knock a bit. If I restart, the bike won't like it. So I advise you to stay maximum in fourth when you will do the city. It will still be a little better after. It is still very easy. We feel a lightness on board this bike.
I like it for the city, in any case when you arrive in small villages or other, and well, it will still be practical hop. The blinker. What I like is that sometimes I forget to remove my blinker. And the fact that it removes itself, it remains a little, plus the device. It was removed. We have the temperature. It is 11 degrees Celsius this morning. We stopped it a little in the sun. It may be a little cooler, but in any case, it is super nice in the south of Portugal. And I will take you to discover now the small roads, where it should also be nice. We leave the city.
As I was telling you, it's quite torquey. It picks up well if I need to accelerate.
it's more than enough.
We can easily reach 90 with the shifter. I can change my gears. So now I can shift into sixth when I'm in sixth, for example. At 70, those are the values that we often have at home. 70, 80, I'm at 2,500 revolutions in sixth.
Quite low in the revs.
Under these conditions, we'll consume using a small engine on a bike made for off-road riding.
The seat feels quite comfortable for now.
I'm good in terms of the tank.
Here, to be able to tighten it,
it's not too wide, so it allows me to have my legs quite closed.
Here we slow down a little bit.
so if I go just on the gauge thread, I feel that it knocks a little bit under 2,500 revolutions. It's not great, so I would still prefer to drop a gear or two.
To be able to have more fluidity, that's why I really like 4 cylinders, because it's often that we can be quite low in the revs and it runs quite round. So here we are on small roads where it's going to become more fun. We're leaving the city. It picks up rather well. I immediately feel the lightness of the bike.
It has a good pickup. We have torque low in the revs. That's very pleasant. The rear braking is pleasing. I can re-accelerate. The shifter is still more pleasant when shifting gears, high in the revs, in sixth. So here we are at 90 on these small roads here. It's top of the top, honestly, so easy. The windscreen seems to do its job well, so it's very small. Like on the Africa Twin, actually, they had reduced it, but as it's a little more optimized, honestly, it's not bad. The acceleration, we honestly have good pickups. Front braking,
It's progressive. We're not going to scare ourselves in fourth.
It picks up quite well. Sometimes you shouldn't hesitate to drop a small gear if you really want to have a more powerful acceleration and be able to overtake more easily. For example, here I'm going to overtake.
it's honestly going well.
Precise braking.
Balance with the rear, I really like. It's very easy, as I say. I don't know how Honda did with its motorcycles. All their motorcycles very easy here. Accelerates strong.
Heavy braking.
We have the warnings that are now triggered during heavy braking phases to also warn people at the back in case of emergency.
But here on the small road like this at 80, 90, I shift back to 6.
So easy to handle.
So be careful because we don't have very good visibility here. And we're off again. It's very pleasant to use.
I really like it, honestly. Good maneuverability.
So I hope they turned left. I hope it's true that it looks good.
We have a nice little noise. It's good. They turned left.
And then we can get back to it quietly, so we don't have a regulator on this motorcycle. Afterwards, I must admit that we are still doing well.
I'm not leaning on my arms, I'm really straight up. It also encourages you to take a good position. There are motorcycles, you want to be slouched.
No, honestly, and me who is at 1.80 meters, I feel that the bubble still protects me, so the smaller you are, the better it is.
So wait, don't move, for example. The 90 me standing straight, a little bit forward in the helmet, a little bit smaller.
You are 1.70 meters. You will be lucky. You will be much better protected than me.
It turns a lot here, we pay attention. Re-acceleration, braking, we lean. Re-acceleration.
We pay attention because there is a little bit of dirt on the road and we go gently.
A gentleman with an old motorcycle, and we re-accelerate. Actually, this is also the fun side of motorcycling. I think that 80% of people buy a motorcycle for fun, some also for work. It's more practical. For example, me in the Paris region, I find it quite practical to be able to ride a motorcycle.
We have a colleague who is a little more agitated than me. You know me, I am someone quite calm on a motorcycle. I like to have a little fun, but I am giving you a test of everyday life like 90% of users. We will be able to do little accelerations and others. It's not a racing motorcycle. I don't think many of you will necessarily want to force in a bend and go put the knee in Transalp and have this little grandpa attitude that I have. There you go. I like to stroll around, take small curves, lean a little because we still take the pleasure of the motorcycle and it is part of it. And to be honest, she has a lean angle that is really very easy with this tire profile.
It's not necessarily what we would say, it's a motorcycle that I want to take in a bend, make big curves while it is really easy. Look, I take it there to the right little gear change and it can still be quite sporty if we want. With its little jerks in passing, during the shifter finally, during the passage with the shifter rather.
So it's very pleasant for this kind of small road, very pleasant. I would love it to do this kind of motorcycle, but with a 4-cylinder. I'm always a fervent defender of the 4-cylinder. Unfortunately, with all the standards and others, it also pushes to make a twin-cylinder. It's that many of you love the twin-cylinder for precisely this sound side, this side a little bit talky. And others I prefer when I'm on a road like this, not to have vibrations and from time to time where it screams all the way up in the revs is really in cruise mode following a car. So really a cool rhythm. It's also very pleasant to ride.
We were told that we were going to do some off-roading, so in a few kilometers we will arrive on a track reserved for us. I show you what it looks like at this place there. The small roads just to show a little bit of landscape, so the colleagues are already very, very far. It seems it's beautiful. That's why the motorcycle is also a treat for this kind of landscape. Enjoy in the morning when there is no one on this kind of small roads. That's also the freedom of the motorcycle, and I understand why many people do road trips on motorcycles and have fun. Look at that there, the mountains as far as the eye can see. No one on these small roads. In short, it's all a treat here.
There are mailboxes here, really, when we engage a little more.
We still have a nice little sound that is pleasing when we want to ride a little harder.
It's still very beautiful. I love this corner. It's so easy to take. I love this motorcycle. It's really easy. And even for someone who just started, who has a license A2, clearly, I highly recommend this motorcycle for men, women, since even for a woman, if your legs touch the ground. It's light, easy, and not too brutal, yet still punchy, allowing for acceleration and fun simultaneously. At the same time, without getting scared, it's totally reasonable, and it's a well-balanced motorcycle.
Wow.
Thank you.
Come on, we're going to go off-roading. We found a little dirt road that was reserved for us. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get here, I'm going to get out of my sport mode or my cyclo mode or my rain mode, and I'm going to switch to what they call gravel mode. To activate it, I have to release my handle completely, which allows me to confirm that I want to do this. So now we're really going to take advantage of this 200mm suspension and see how it rides. The suspension was revised to be a little firmer and normally give a little more precision then. I know a lot of people like to stand up when they're off-roading. I admit that I prefer sitting, so I don't know why I feel more comfortable sitting.
It's true that motorcycles turn and go downhill, so I don't feel very comfortable riding one.
On dirt, having some driving aids, even ABS in gravel, traction control on the other hand, it's beautiful.
It acts as a safety net, ensuring I don't injure myself, especially during intense accelerations like going uphill. I can accelerate and the bike will manage. It will make sure not to kill me so that I stay upright. Look, even here, I put full throttle and actually I feel, look at the little light there. No, it does it more uphill. The traction control will flash orange to tell you, I'm taking care of you, don't worry. You can put a little more gas. We will make sure that the rear wheel does not skid all the time. It shakes a little bit, but honestly, it's not ridiculous. We're pretty good. Doing some trail. It's always pleasant we have tires that are adapted to this kind of trail, so it's not meant to be muddy. Neither for the trail. There's no problem, however, it should not be soaked and muddy because we don't have big studs. However, look at me, who is not a pro of trails. And well, it goes quite well. If I brake from the rear, the ABS is made to stay in gravel mode and precisely work in a slightly freer way and still allow some small drifts.
This place is really very beautiful. So this is the trail.
It's not really off-road because we can say it's a kind of trail. We're not in the middle of nowhere.
Of the forest, but it's doable.
Extremely well. I think most people with this kind of bike will do these kinds of things at least once to have a minimum of pleasure.
And clearly it's really not bad. I can stay seated if I stand up, then I'm not a big fan of standing up. Indeed, it allows to filter better with the legs after. I have more weight on the handlebars.
And I prefer to have lightness in the handlebars and better feel what is happening exactly.
It holds up pretty well, and then we can turn everything off if we want to slide a little bit from the back, do some burns and others, but I admit that I like to have a little guardrail. However, to deactivate everything, you have to go back into user mode. For example, I activate, I stay pressed here, and then, for example, there, I will put myself in ABS off, so I disconnect my ABS on the back. Then I can go back here.
And for example, the traction control, I will also be able to deactivate it, so I will just do a little bit here to show you by staying pressed. So there, I have no more traction control, and I have no more ABS at the back, which will normally allow me to do some small skids. I stay pressed on the mode button here and off we go. So this time, however, it might slide a little bit.
There, however, woohoo. Oh my, this is something else. A little furious horse is having fun this time, so here you have to be gentler on the throttle. We pay attention here and there, for example. It slides, and even from the back you see I can do skids. It really slides. So what I'm going to do, not being a pilot, I put my gravel mode back on. Rain, gravel, I let go, I activate, and it tells me that I'm good.
Like this, I try not to die, and I admit that I am still more serene. Unless you are a real pilot, I advise you to leave everything connected. It will still be much nicer. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of the landscape, and I continue my little ride with this Africa Twin. It's true that the ABS does a good job, because in the end it allows to balance. It slides a little bit, but at the same time it rebalances the bike, like the rear brake on the road.
Really not bad. I'm not a big fan of front braking on this kind of path with stones and others, but I think it makes it quite easy. You see, I changed track left, right, frankly. It's quite pleasant. It's very beautiful. I love that we can do this. Well, this is a road we have the right to go. So sometimes there are still some roads where we can say we can go right on the path of the road, etc. And there, for example, so we see that we are still in a big descent rather than saying, watch out, I've blocked the rear or other now. I take only the rear with my abs taking care of me, and I don't put myself in danger. It's still much more fun, and we joined the colleagues, the shooting secrets. I like to show you the backstage you look. So we have a cameraman on XADV with another pilot, and it will allow us here to be able to do shoots just here and there. You go, that I like to show you a little bit, this kind of plan, it changes a bit, and there you go. How we make the traveling cinema videos, everything that is done in the advertisements, and others. So small path, it allows to ride, we accelerate a bit, and I slow down, and he will overtake me. There you go. That's the little plans that you saw in intro, or that I show you a little bit from time to time there. It makes nice little plans. I like more, it's pretty with this landscape. It's always more fun to have this kind of complementary stuff. Up there we change side with the little dust, and where there is less than that, it fits well.
You have to get a little closer.
But we're going to watch the road. Don't just look at him, do it well. Don't fall on video, a little access.
And it goes back and it overtakes. Can we speed up? Yes.
Well, it had a little skid. I don't think he filmed the little skid. No, he didn't film the little skid, but there you go. We meet up with the buddies. So after a day has passed with this new Transalp, what do we think? There's a little evolution then.
The lights are normally supposed to illuminate a little further. The motorcycle's fog lights are a real plus for visibility, especially when riding on the ring road during the day. Having extra lighting helps you be better spotted. Consider taking it back for a test ride to experience the difference.
At night after, do you often want to ride at night on small country roads? Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments. The slightly firmer suspension brings a more dynamic side to this motorcycle and makes it playful. We always have several modes, so the sport mode suits it very well, I think, because we still have the responsiveness for everyday use. The standard mode will suit, or the rain mode for the rain, as it is named, a rain for the rain, so we can ride quietly. It brings even more traction control, and especially a mapping that is softer, since we now have the ride-by-wire. That is to say, it is no longer a throttle cable. it is really all electronic. The shifter is a real plus. It's more comfortable to shift gears in the revs, like with all motorcycles. Some still sometimes have a nicer driving and gear shifting experience there.
Well, it's better than, for example, at Yamaha. I don't like the gear shifting and the gearbox there. I find it still much nicer. The seat is comfortable. The motorcycle is pleasant in all conditions. And the windscreen does its job well even when riding at higher speeds. In short, for this price, we have a nice bike that doesn't consume too much. As for the consumption, I can't really give you a real estimate since we are here. We had fun with this bike. But the Transalp, it sold well. It was part of the top 3 recently, so I also had to come and try it again. Thank you, Honda, for inviting me here. We were able to enjoy this magnificent scenery and this sun in the month.
In January, it feels good because the days are shorter in Paris.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you soon for another video.